Hey folks, how are we doing? Welcome back to the Bocce Piles channel. And today, I hope to have a fun one for the old Premodern format. It is this crazy Gush foil madness deck. So I got this deck from the Premodern Discord, and I just made a few minor changes. They were on 4 days and 2 counterspell. And they said that they switched it to 3 counterspell in 3 days. And so I just think based off the mana base that maybe Mana Leak would be a lot easier to cast than Daze, especially on turn 2. And in the late game, we do have foil as a hard counter. So yeah, I don't know. Like, what are the chances we have 2 blue on turn 2? And how bad is Mana Leak gonna be? Yeah, Daze seems like this necessary evil card, but we have foil, right? So maybe like we can trim down on Dazes. But you know, other than that, it's a blue-green madness build. So what we want to do here is play Careful Study and discard Basking Rootwalla and Squee and Arrogant Wurm. Okay, I just realized I had a Aquamoeba in the deck instead of Frantic Search. And, well, in this particular build, I think we definitely want the Frantic Search. And also, the list online was playing 22 lands. So I've gone down to 21 just to squeeze in the main deck wonder somewhere. We'll see if we get burned. Obviously, we want as many islands as we can to facilitate these gushes and foils. So I don't know how effective Gush is like in a 2-color deck like this with 6 forests. I guess we're gonna find out. And then in the sideboard, well, apparently in the Discord they say that this cave-in Pyrokinesis plan is not very good, that they in fact lost to Survival Elves despite running this. So we'll see. I'm just not sure what I want on the sideboard instead of those things. I guess like Waterfront Bouncer and Gilded Drake is what they were suggesting. We'll just have to see whether or not this is actually playable or not. So we're gonna find out here. But yeah, so yeah, some exciting foil and Gush stuff going on here. Yeah, well, let's jam a couple games here. All right, cool. We have ourselves a game. All right, so we have a 1-lander here, but it has Careful Study in this Basking Rootwalla that I want to discard. So I'm just going to have to assume we're going to draw some lands here. And if we fail, well, we can always Careful Study again. All right, we'll take an Ouchie off the Yavimaya Coast. Ooh, and we got there with a Squee. That's like the best possible find. And another land, so that is like it's pretty bonkers. A secluded step from the opponent. So I believe that means they're on like an astral slide kind of strat. So I get back Squee on the upkeep. Draw Mana Leak. Okay. So what do I want to do here? Do I want to get out the Wild Mongrel and continue the beats? Is there anything on 2 they have that I am super worried about? See, this Daze is not going to be doing a lot. I think I'm going to risk that they don't do anything to win the game on turn 2. And so I'll just get this Wild Mongrel out, and then we can start, beating for 4. An Enlightened Tutor, okay. Okay, so they get Astral Slide. So the slide builds that I'm used to are white-red. This one's white-green. Another Rootwalla, okay. Well, I'm going to send in the clowns here. And we're going to discard a Squee, make Wild Mongrel black, discard Basking Rootwalla. Let's yield to these madness triggers, cast the Basking Rootwalla, and we are in for 4. And I'm just going to hold up Mana Leak here rather than do anything else. So they're tapping out for Astral Slide, so I'm going to take advantage of my Daze here and bet that my opponent does not have Elvish Spirit Guide. All right, the opponent conceded. So the opponent's playing Enlightened Tutor, so Naturalize looks pretty good. We're on the draw, so we're probably going to make do without Daze. I don't think Astral Slide is like a Phyrexian Furance kind of deck where that's something I need to be worried about. So we just need to cut a couple more cards here. I think we can make do without the Wonder. This isn't like an aggro matchup, I don't think. I'm just not sure what the last cut should be. Maybe cutting a foil is okay, since these naturalizes seem like they're going to be very good. I could trim a mana leak, but I think we'll just cut the super card disadvantage counterspell thing. And we'll try this. Opponent mulligans to 6. We got a hand of all blue cards here. So I'm definitely going to keep. Hopefully we careful study into something good. Basic plains and pass. It's a nice Urza Saga floating meadow there. We discard an Arrogant Wurm. Well, I don't think I can hold back on this careful study. Okay, so we find some mana. That's very nice. So we don't need a Yavimaya Coast where we have our mana otherwise accounted for. And so we want the Frantic Search to set up our Arrogant Wurm. And so I think we're either discarding a Gush or a Careful Study here. I think I probably don't want a Careful Study next turn. So I think I'm gonna... I mean, is Gush better than Careful? I mean, I think it probably is here. Just where we don't have any other enablers. So I'm gonna do that. And yeah, let's pass. The opponent plays a Windswept Heath and just passes it back. We draw a forest. Okay. I think it makes sense just to play out the island. This way we can do an emergency Gush. We have to. The opponent cracks their Windswept Heath. I wonder if we'll see an Enlightened Tutor here or cycle. They play an Astral Slide on their turn. There's not a lot I can do about it other than try to find... Okay, Seal of Cleansing. See, one thing about our deck is that it's impossible for our opponents to recognize that we are not on a Survival of the Fittest build. So we got that going on. Wild Mongrel. Well, I'm going to hold up the Frantic Search here for sure. But yeah, opponents like basically have to keep... I mean, we just look like a Survival of the Fittest build. So every opponent's going to have a bunch of enchantment removal that doesn't do anything against us. So here comes a Frantic Search. And I'll discard an Arrogant Wurm. And I think we only really need one forest. Yeah, that seems fine. You gotta remember to untap your lands with Frantic Search. We'll yield to the Madness trigger. And here's our Arrogant Wurm. The worm is in. Okay, and I think I'm just going to attack here. Are we getting swordsed? We are. Cool. Okay, so do I want to play a Wild Mongrel this turn? I guess so. We can Gush. Looking for mana leak. The situation arises, but I think we'll be happier off overall with this Wild Mongrel in play. An Astral Slide. See, this seems like a time that I should Gush. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And it doesn't slow our roll on the whole Arrogant Wurm business, because we'll have 3 mana next turn. Okay, well, we did not find anything exciting, so our opponent gets to slide away. Okay, they don't do anything else. Here's a Rootwalla. Okay, so I'm going to play the island. There's no reason to deploy the Arrogant Wurm until their end step. What does this do? Okay, so this would come back if they manage to slide it out here. So it makes me want to not commit a huge amount to the Wild Mongrel, you know, discarding a bunch of cards just to get it slid. But it will definitely get this Basking Rootwalla into play. All right, so yeah, Wild Mongrel is black. It's getting in for 3. Does our opponent have anything to say about it? No, they're just going to go to 16 here. Looks like they are just going to pass through their turn. So here comes my Arrogant Wurm. Okay, the Arrogant Wurm resolves. We just made the Wild Mongrel blue. That was pretty crazy looking. A foil, okay. That's probably a good one at some point here. So I think this puts me in a position to juice the Rootwalla. So we'll do that. All right, so I attack with all my guys. Pump the Rootwalla. I could discard a land here, but I guess I'm just going to not do that. I think the opponent's going to do some cycling if I had to. Okay. Cool. So they are activating, cycling a Krosan Tusker. That is there's a Premodern staple. Phasing out my my Arrogant Wurm. They get to find some more mana. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to just commit this Yavimaya Coast to the Wild Mongrel. And I suppose it actually makes sense to make the Wild Mongrel white here. With all the options. Because there is some like white removal, like Exile. Which is, I think from Mercadian Masks or... No, it's in 6th edition. That's what it is. And it's like exile target non-white creatures. There is some white removal. Although, I mean, obviously they wouldn't have it. It would just be Swords to Plowshares. Okay, the opponent looks to be just passing through their turn. Careful study. I think the plan here is to juice the Rootwalla and attack. They phase out the Arrogant Wurm. So we could commit heavily to the Wild Mongrel here and even kill them with Gush, I believe, but I don't think it's worth committing all those resources. They could just cycle something else. They're going to 5. So, yeah, I mean, like one more attack from the Rootwalla and the Wild Mongrel does it. So if they play like a Swords to Plowshares, yeah, see, this isn't really one that I want to foil. But I could Gush anyway. Maybe I'll do that and just see what we're drawing here. Like if I find a mana leak, be happy to mana leak this. See if I'd done my mana better. Could be maybe getting an Arrogant Wurm into play here. All right, well, we drew another Arrogant Wurm, though, so I think we're in a perfectly fine spot. So we'll just let this go. And yeah, we won't do anything with our 2 mana. Okay, so the opponent's playing a Morph, so presumably it's an Exalted Angel. I do want to discard that. I think I'll just discard another island. I think I'm just going to discard the Careful Study. I don't think I'm going to be playing it. We do counter the Exalted Angel successfully. They pass it back to my turn. Ooh, and Naturalize. Okay. So what do I want to do? I think I want to play Wild Mongrel and Naturalize. We kind of walk into Wrath of God. I guess I'm going to start with an attack here. I guess I'd have to anticipate that they're going to cycle something. So I guess it's best to threaten their life total. All right, I'm just going to Naturalize the Astral Slide here. I don't know if their deck plays Wrath of God, but I feel like it should. Okay, so they're cycling a Renewed Faith also. So that'll cycle both of our guys off the table. They'll gain some life. So they draw a card off one cycler. And they stay at 7 life. Cool. We do get our boys back. So I am scared of them getting like an Exalted Angel down. Don't have a good answer to it right here. If it's like a Krosan Tusker, that's unfortunate too. The Wonder is not in my deck, but I think we could at least go wide of it sooner than later. A Living Wish. All right, that's scary. Okay, they got a Wall of Blossoms. Yeah, I would say it could be worse. So the Wall of Blossoms comes into play. Draw a card. And they're going to Plane Cycle their Eternal Dragon. Cool. We draw an island. Well, it means we can Wild Mongrel and Arrogant Wurm this turn. I guess I'm going to attack, though, and see what they want to do. So I guess I'll play my island first. If they block the Wild Mongrel, I'll definitely pump it twice. Yeah. All right, so I send in both guys. So I think they're trying to bait me into a Swords to Plowshares here, but I at least get to deploy this Arrogant Wurm. So I'm going to make it white, as we discussed. That's the most logical choice. We'll discard this extra island. So if they're going to Swords it here, that is it's their prerogative. Now, do I want to boost the Basking Rootwalla here, or do I just want to play the Wild Mongrel? I guess I want to play the Wild Mongrel. We haven't seen Wrath of God yet, and we... Oh, okay. They didn't block. I mean, I guess another Wild Mongrel it is. An Enlightened Tutor from the opponent here. That's scary. They get themselves an Astral Slide. All right. Of all the things, I mean, at least it's not like Moat. Obviously, that's not in this format. Make like COP green. That would be like a rough one. Okay, here's a Living Wish. A Karmic Guide. Okay, so they get to bring back an Exalted Angel here. I would assume. That's what they're gonna do. So they'll lose the Karmic Guide, but unfortunately, I think we're just coming up a little bit short on this one. Island. Yeah, I don't really have anything I can attack with. I guess the good news is they can't really attack with their Exalted Angel. And I mean, I don't think they're going to pay the upkeep on this, but maybe. I guess they want to maybe pay the upkeep and then get the Astral Slide in play and then like start recurring the Karmic Guide. That would be sick. Here's the Astral Slide. And this faithful boy here. That's gonna be a good one with a slide. That'll gain them a lot of life. Squee. Yeah, I can't really attack. My opponent does dare to attack with their Exalted Angel. Their Eternal Dragon's not in hand. They must be playing another follow-up here. I see, they're gonna cycle and untap it. Cool. Well, what I can do next turn is attack with 2 Wild Mongrels. And then whichever one gets blocked, I can commit a bunch of resources to it and hope that they do not. Ooh, a Gush. That is a good one. Okay, so they're at 14. Yeah, I think I just have to attack with the Wild Mongrels here. The ones that can really threaten to kill the Exalted Angel. Okay, so I'm gonna float 2. And I'm gonna fire off the Gush here. There's a foil. Okay, so we're gonna grow the Wild Mongrel once. And we just need to kind of keep the foil as an option. All you have to do is cycle my Wild Mongrel or slide it out, but I guess discarding the island makes more sense than the Wild Mongrel here, so I'll do that. But maybe by some miracle they don't have another cycler. It looks like they have a cycler. Yes. Yeah, so they slide my Wild Mongrel here. All right. And you do not get anywhere in combat. So they attack with their Wild Mongrel in the... Sorry, their Exalted Angel in the sky. Okay. I mean, I guess they must have a bunch of cyclers. I don't know how they like punish me for attacking here. So if I play the forest, I can. We have foil. I guess I don't need to play the forest until post combat. So I guess I'm going to attack with a squad. All right, here comes the squad. They just blocked the Basking Rootwalla. So do I want to pump the Wild Mongrel here? Discarding a Squee, and then maybe I just play the island and hold up hardcast foil. It's hard to commit much more than that to the board when they could just sword something. All right, so here's a Decree of Justice. That makes sense. They're going to make a whole bunch of tokens and do some blocks here. I guess we're after the blocking step. So they won't be doing any additional blocking. But they do slide the Arrogant Wurm, and I guess they're going to take 5. Okay, so post-combat, I think I'm going to stick with my plan just to hold up the hardcast foil. They do have chump blockers for Daze with these soldier tokens. Another Astral Slide. Seems tough to beat. I mean, the Arrogant Wurm does have trample to get over those tokens. But they can probably slide that out. And I guess I'm realizing I lost my Basking Rootwalla to the Faithful. If I tapped out for it, though, I wouldn't... Okay. I mean, I think my opponent's probably got it here. I guess I'll keep going a little bit longer. But I missed the opportunity to hold up foil. If I don't... I do pump the Basking Rootwalla there. All right, well, I'll definitely use my foil while the getting is good. All right, well, unfortunately, I've probably missed... My opponent's probably identified at this point that I'm not on a survival build. That I've missed my chance. But they're going to go up to 17. And, yeah, I mean, it's pretty tough for me to be winning this race here. They're getting like a 9 plus 4. Oh, and they get the Tarot's Faithful back too. All right, I guess I'll just draw one more card here. Maybe it'll be something really good. Gush would probably be a good start. All right, cool. I think they've got this one. But we just got to stop those Astral Slides from resolving. Phyrexian Furance does do stuff against their Karmic Guides. I wonder, like, I really kind of don't love the Frantic Searches. Maybe we trim some of those. And so we have like max counter spells, and naturalizes, and some kind of graveyard interaction. All right, I'll try this. Okay. All right, we're on the play. Game 1, or game 3. And yeah, this looks like a fine hand. Could deploy the Phyrexian Furnace. And maybe I'll actually just wait on the Careful Study and get the Furnace down. But I already have one good card to discard to the Basking. I already have the Basking Rootwalla to discard. So I think I'm... And then, yeah, one Furnace is probably plenty. So... yeah, let's do it like that. We have ourselves a beater. So, like, I think an island is like the best draw here. And Naturalize, that's not a bad one. So I think I'm just going to attack with a Rootwalla and pump it up. Okay, the opponent plays a brush land, passes the turn on back. So a land is like probably the best possible draw there. So I can get the Phyrexian Furance out, and I can attack with Basking Rootwalla. We've got Gush into foil. But the only thing they can do that really matters is play Astral Slide. Like, maybe I shouldn't have played the Phyrexian Furance. Just so I could hold up the foil. Then I like have to Gush too. I think this will be fine, and the Arrogant Wurm will just have to wait. Cool. Well, we can take care of our opponent's Eternal Dragon here. Phyrexian Furance already paying dividends. All right, so the Rootwalla is getting in for another 3, passing it back. Opponent's at 14. So here's the tap out for the Astral Slide. We have the Naturalize handy. We drew an island. That's pretty great. I guess it doesn't change anything too much here. But, I mean, I have to Naturalize. And I will clear my opponent's graveyard. All right, and we'll get in for 1. All right, opponent goes to 13. All right, the opponent's playing another Astral Slide, so this is our big chance to Gush here. Ooh, and we hit the mana leak. That is excellent. I mean, a Squee would have been pretty awesome. But hitting the mana leak there so we can just hard cast it and save the foil for later. Pretty sweet. Another foil. So I think what I want to do here, it's extremely suspicious, but I think I want to attack with a Rootwalla and not pump it. And then we foil whatever our opponent does and get an Arrogant Wurm into play. And then we are holding up hard cast foil the next turn. All right, the opponent cycles Crows and Tusker. Okay, and they are just passing the turn. So sadly, I don't get to my Arrogant Wurm into play, but I mean, I think that's okay. Another land. Okay, I think I can play out the forest. Yeah, I think I have to keep just chipping away and be holding up these hardcast foils and whatnot. I mean, next turn I can start pumping the Rootwalla, so I think I gotta play towards that. So I get the opponent down to 11. Exile their Crows and Tusker. All right, the opponent cracks Windswept Heath. Maybe they're going to tap out for something big and expensive here. That would be like a best case scenario. Like a Crows and Tusker. At least 3 mana. A Morph. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, we're doing it. I put the... Oh. Okay, we lost my trigger for a second there. Okay. Put Arrogant Wurm on the stack. Foil resolves. And here's the Astral Slide. Wow, they drew their 3rd Astral Slide. You have got to be kidding me. It's pretty wild. Okay. So I draw this Yavimaya Coast. All right. Well, I'm going to pump up the Rootwalla as opposed to hold up hardcast foil because the Yavimaya Coast is not exciting. And just try to get my opponent dead soon here. There is always the option of cashing in this Phyrexian Furance. Draw 1 more card. Tap in a bunch of mana. Exalted Angel. Cool. Well, they have 3 Astral Slides. I have a bunch of foils. I don't think I can. All right, there's a concession. I did it. All right, we got another match queued up, and I guess we're once again on the play. And we got a pretty cool hand, except that doesn't do anything. We just had a careful study. That would be pretty awesome. So I guess we're gonna mulligan this one. Well, this hand does play Magic the Gathering, so I'm going to keep. And then what to put back? I mean, I think it has to be the Wonder, unfortunately. So we'll do that. And I'll play an Island and pass here. All right, the opponent's on an Island pass also. Okay, we got there with a land. So we'll keep our green side of our deck a secret for now. And we have Mana Leak and Daze available. Opponent's playing a Careful Study. So I think I'm going to hard cast Daze on this. Okay, they just play another land. Burn for not playing it first. So we're going to have like a perfect Frantic Search here on the opponent's end step with 2 cards to discard. So that is just the way we got to hardcast Daze there, and we're going to have this Frantic Search, probably pretty good news. Wild Mongrel. So I think what I'll do is Frantic Search and then Mana Leak this. Now if I get Dazed, I suppose that'll be unfortunate. Maybe I should have thought harder about that. Okay, cool, I did not get Dazed. So I'll discard these 2, untap 3. I cast my Basking Rootwalla. Then here is the Mana Leak on the Mongrel. Okay, so they pass it back. I draw a foil. That's really good with the Gush and the Squee. So do I pump the Basking Rootwalla and just save this Mana Leak for later? I could pump the Basking Rootwalla and then Gush now, but that still leaves me with 1 island in play. I think I'm going to pump the Basking Rootwalla and attack. But why not then just Gush right now? And then redeploy a land. If I'm gonna do it anyway, right? All right, cool. Opponent's just passing. So that being the case, I think my plan here, yet another foil. Yeah, I think I'm just going to attack for 1 and then try to set up Arrogant Wurm in the end step. But if something happens, I'll Mana Leak it. So they just passed through my turn there. Like, I guess if they played something I'd want to Mana Leak, I would Frantic Search first. Basically, regardless. But here I'll try this Frantic Search. Opponent's playing a Circular Logic. I guess that tracks. Shan't pay 2. There's a Gush. That seems good. Okay, so what do I want to do? I think I want to attack and pump. And I just have so many cards in my hand now that I am like less excited about gushing right now. I'll end up discarding a bunch of cards. The opponent's gushing. I think I let him have it. All right, they just pass back. So I would like to draw like a land. There we go. So this lets me hold up the Mana Leak. Okay. Of course, yeah, and I don't have the Frantic Search. I think I want to attack for 1. See, the thing is, if I don't pump the Rootwalla, I get an opportunity to maybe play the Arrogant Wurm, which would be kind of sweet. But I have this Squee to discard to the foil anyway, and I want to pressure my opponent, so I guess I'm just gonna pump up the Rootwalla here. Take out their life in chunks of 3 here. Okay, so they're hard casting an Arrogant Wurm. Here's my mana leak. That just resolves. All right, I think our tempo game plan is fine here. We have like 2 more counter spells. Taking out the opponent's life in chunks of 3. And if we do get another land... Okay, I was just having a little chat with my opponent. They're going to the tournament. They're trying to get this list. And that's cool with me. I got it from the Premodern Discord. Okay, anyway. So we drew a land here. So we're like super set. And... I am passing the turn here. Okay, so my opponent tapped for some stuff, but then they did nothing, and I am not gonna gush in there. I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. We just seem super set up here. A Frantic Search. Well, there's something I can do in my opponent's end step to get this worm into play. I don't know why I would do it before then. So, yeah. My opponent, we are continuing to chat here about the glories of Premodern and Blue-Green Madness, so. Anyway, pump the Rootwalla. So here's my opponent going for a Frantic Search. So, do I want to gush and foil this Frantic Search and not let them... What are they trying to discard here? I think I just have so many foils I like have to do this. And this is going to get out my Arrogant Wurm too. So let's I think okay, so I need to gush in order to foil. All right, so I guess I'm gushing. It's a little tricky. Okay, we drew some stuff. Okay, and I screwed up here and accidentally let my opponent resolve their Frantic Search. That's rough. So maybe they're gonna play an Arrogant Wurm, and I'll be able to capitalize here. Okay. Yeah, that was silly. Okay, we'll let them madness this out, and I'll foil it, and it'll be okay. I'm not good at chatting and playing Magic the Gathering. All right. So we got the foil on their Arrogant Wurm. We're juicing the Rootwalla. And then, so do I just want to pop off this Frantic Search and play the Arrogant Wurm now? And then I'll still have foil ups. Yeah, I guess we're just doing that. Yeah, okay. Opponent has Daze. That seems fine. So yeah, I'll just play the Forest and the other Rootwalla here. And then I guess if I have to foil something here, we're pitching the Arrogant Wurm, but I think we'll win the game. Opponent gushes. A Frantic Search from the opponent. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna foil this. Because, I mean, if they have Daze, we're going to get blown out by it. Okay, we won. They ended up being a little closer, but my ability to concentrate was encumbered. So we have, like, exactly nothing to sideboard here. I mean, maybe I could bring in some Phyrexian Furnaces for something. Because maybe they're playing, like, Roar of the Wurm. We're going to be on the draw. I think on the draw, I am just going to cut some Dazes for some Phyrexian Furnaces. My opponent's going to have like Wonder or Roar of the Wurm or something. Okay, so my opponent's on that basic island in Pass. I really want this Careful Study to resolve and have it not get dazed, but okay, it did not get dazed. We'll discard a Squee. We have so many Wild Mongrels, and islands are good. So I think I am going to discard the second Wild Mongrel. Is that true? I mean, 2 islands is plenty, but suppose I draw a foil. All right, yeah, I think just 3 Wild Mongrels is a whole bunch. And we do want to discard the Wild Mongrel first in case my opponent has a Phyrexian Furance of their own. Okay. Opponent plays a forest. And it looks like an Aquamoeba. Wild Mongrel's little brother. I get to get back the Squee. And we can just furiously jam a Wild Mongrel into Daze here. Basking Rootwalla, a great draw. Another Aquamoeba. Okay. I mean, this is the thing about Blue-Green Madness is like our cards are all superior. Yeah, I'm definitely going to block here. And we can unfortunately win this exchange for my opponent. So they make it a 3-1. But we get to make ours a 4-4. And we'll make it black. And that is a good exchange for us. I'll get back the Squee. Our Wonder of Our Own. Wow. I guess it doesn't matter too much here. So I'm going to attack with a squad. If they block the Basking Rootwalla, I guess I'm just happy with the trade. Okay, so I am going to discard out this Arrogant Wurm. I think that is more important than pumping the Rootwalla. All right. Maybe I should have kept the Wonder a surprise. All right, the opponent has a Frantic Search and an Arrogant Wurm of their own. Yep. So the good news is we get our Squee back, and it's easy to keep our Wild Mongrel big. Ooh, and there's a Gush. I guess I'm playing out this island. And so I guess I'm just not attacking with the Basking Rootwalla. Cool, so we're gonna trade. So yeah, I'll discard the Squee. And juice up the Mongrel. So I don't think I'm gonna go crazy with Gush here. But I think I will play this other Mongrel. And we'll pass it back. So the opponent is just passing through their turn. Get Squee back. So our position's probably pretty good here. Like all kinds of good stuff can happen once I Gush. Okay, so they're discarding, they're blocking with the Aquamoeba. So I'm gonna discard a Squee, pump up the Wild Mongrel. Opponent's making an Arrogant Wurm. So that's cool. So maybe I should have just pumped, because I think I can actually kill my opponent here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, hang on. Let's just make this happen here. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's happening. Wild Mongrel of my own, but I can just pump this guy up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8. Okay, yeah, we got it. Yeah, we're floating Mana Leak too, so. All right, my opponent's saying GG. And I think that does it. That's 8 damage. They're at 8 life. Yep, okay, cool. Nice. All right, cool. So we're going to be on the draw. I'm just going to do one more match here. We'll call it good. But we have a no-lander. Pretty easy mulligan. Yeah, let's take a mulligan. Opponents keeps on 7. Well, this hand plays Magic the Gathering, so I'm going to keep. And I guess I'll discard the Daze or put that on the bottom. Dazing on the draw is not super exciting. If I foil, I'm going to need to discard my island. And yeah, so I just don't think I'm going to be playing my island, probably. Unless I draw more. The plan is to play some forests and Wild Mongrel. So I think getting rid of Daze makes sense. But maybe something happens where I decide I want to hold up Mana Leak on turn 2. A Jackal Pup. So, yeah, I don't think I need to foil this because they're going to get in for 2, but then I can play Wild Mongrel and we can brick wall this thing. So it's mostly just a shock. Okay. So far, my plan is to discard Mana Leak and Island to foil at some point here. So yes, we do go to 18. Treetop Village. Okay, so it is the green-red version. And I guess I'm not worried about a second Jackal Pup. Like, the same logic pretty much applies here. These Wild Mongrels are going to do a good job of brick walling what my opponent's trying to do. So here comes a Wild Mongrel. So if I had to discard one card to Wild Mongrel here, I would say it is Mana Leak at this juncture. Then probably followed by foil. All right, the opponent is going to attack. So I am going to block. And I'm going to discard my Mana Leak here. And I guess I'll make the Wild Mongrel red. That's an aggressive looking mongrel. Opponent does take 3. Helps us stay in the race. That's nice. Sylvan Library from the opponent. So I just don't think we can be foiling this. So we'll have to let them have it. What I'd like to do here is draw like a Squee or something that it would be good to discard. That would be nice. Foil. Yeah, that is not the best. So I could Frantic Search here and pray that in our next 2 cards we find something good. It's possible. What am I trying to get here? We're trying to get one of our Squees, Basking Rootwalla, and that's pretty much it. There's 8 things to find that would be good. Oh, I guess there's Arrogant Wurm, so there's 12. So yeah, I don't think we can really take those odds. So I think I'm going to attack with a Wild Mongrel and just play the other Wild Mongrel. And we're pretty much hoping that these mongrels can go the distance. All right, my mongrels are in. And of course, at this point, if I foil, I'm going to discard foil to foil. But more realistically, they're probably going to... I'm sure they're actually not going to attack with that Jackal Pup. I mean, probably... Maybe they attack with, like, that Treetop Village. They did pay 4. I think Wild Mongrels are pretty strong in this matchup. I guess what I'm kind of concerned about is my opponent playing a Wild Mongrel of their own. So the opponent's going in on a Grim Lava Mancer activation, and they're targeting Wild Mongrel. Well, I'm definitely going to discard foil and keep it around. I'll make it red. And then if they like want to attack with Jackal Pup, I'm going to be okay with that. I think I'll just have to take the trade. So they want to incinerate it. So I'd have to discard the foil and something else. I think them pouring their removal at the Wild Mongrel is fine with me. So they'll get into 2 here. They'll get in 4-2. So what I need to do here is get an Arrogant Wurm down, and that'll just completely dominate the game. But a Basking Rootwalla would be okay too. Yeah, I think I have to go for a Frantic Search here. And just hope for the best. Do I have to do that? See, I think I kind of do have to play wild defense because their Treetop Village attack plus Jackal Pup is like a 6-point attack. Yeah, I think I just have to hold up here, unfortunately. Okay, so the opponent does not pay any life to their Sylvan Library. They're suiting up the Treetop Village. Okay. Wow, just attacking the Treetop Village. Well, I'm going to try the Frantic Search here. And we're going to hope and pray. We don't get there. Okay, I think the foil is being discarded. And probably forest is being discarded. Untap some lands. Yeah, now our spot is not looking so hot. You see, maybe I got greedy there. So it would have been a lot easier. Like if I pumped a bunch of stuff into this, we could be killing the Treetop Village, making my opponent. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna take it here and go to 11. And now I'm just down a card. All right, the opponent just passes it back without doing anything. Ugh, just drawing lands. Well, this time around, I'll do what I should have done last time. And double pump the Wild Mongrel. All right, the opponent stands up the Treetop Village. Attacks for 3, presumably. All right, I'm gonna block. I'm gonna discard Yavimaya Coast. Make it red, and I think I just have to discard the Mana Leak, unfortunately. Because if I draw Gush, it's really good to have 2 islands. We make the trade. Play a Bloodstained Mire. They go to finish off my Wild Mongrel, and there's naught that I can do about it. Another Frantic Search. Okay. Well, we're going to sit on this. We just didn't hit any Madness cards or Squeeze or Gushes. And our deck just does not operate well without any kind of any of the card advantage. Okay, so it looks like they paid 4 for the Sylvan Library. We're going to rank her up, the Jackal Pup. Yep, I think that happens. Okay. All right, Frantic Search. Don't let me down again. Okay. I think that counts as not being let down. We'll discard these 2. All right, I am casting the Arrogant Wurm from exile here. This is a pretty big game, because our opponent takes 4 also. This mitigates the power of their Sylvan Library. They do get their ranker back. So they go to 4. So I'd still take a Gush here. That would be cool. Another Frantic Search. I guess we're running it back. Yeah, they're going to fling at us with their... we'll deal 2 with the Grim Lavamancer. Makes sense. So probably they equip the Grim Lavamancer here with a ranker, if I had to guess, and swing in. And I will be hoping to draw a Basking Rootwalla. Or another Arrogant Wurm would be good too. Looks like the opponent is not going to ranker up their Grim Lavamancer. I think I just have to go for it here with a Frantic Search. At least we got the Wild Mongrel going on. Okay, Arrogant Wurm. That is a top deck. So we'll get our Wild Mongrel out. It's just unfortunately tricky. I mean, what do I do if they incinerate the Wild Mongrel here? I guess I just let it go, and I'm happy that the incinerate's not going at my head. And we'll just have to look for another outlet for this Arrogant Wurm, but it's not very likely that we get another Wild Mongrel is the thing. So, I mean, supposing they like Grim Lavamancer and target the Wild Mongrel, I guess I'd have to think about just sacrificing this Arrogant Wurm. Obviously, if this Arrogant Wurm somehow gets into play, we are cooking. Okay. The opponent resolves a Sylvan Library trigger. They wisely decide not to pay 4 life. I guess one thing that could happen is the opponent could ranker up that Grim Lavamancer and a Lightning Bolt at my Wild Mongrel. Yeah, I'm just going to have to accept that. I mean, obviously, discarding the Arrogant Wurm doesn't help, so that's a fairly easy decision. Here's the ranker on the Grim Lavamancer. Well, I mean, it is possible to draw the Frantic Search, the 4th Frantic Search. So I'm going to try to believe in the heart of the cards here. I go to 6. Mog Fanatic, that's scary. I need something really good here. A Basking Rootwalla would be an okay start. Mana Leak, that's probably not it. Okay. My opponent's coming in. Wow, they're not attacking with a Grim Lavamancer. I like that for me. Another Mog Fanatic. So that means they can ping me twice, Lavamancer me once. Doesn't quite do it. Squee. Where were you earlier, Squee? That is the thing about playing a card. It doesn't do anything in your deck. You might draw it at times like this. Okay, but my opponent can just attack with all their boys here. So, yeah, I guess we're pretty cooked. All right, and I think my opponent's going to come in with an attack. They're not going to attack with Grim Lavamancer. I guess they are worried about the Arrogant Wurm. I guess makes sense. But yeah, now they can just fling a Mog Fanatic and then Grim Lavamancer me, so that makes sense. All right, cool. I think they've got it figured out. So this is a spot where the Cave-ins and Pyrokinesis, not very good. But I think Phyrexian Furance is worthwhile. They have the Grim Lavamancers, and usually their decks play Call of the Herd, decks like this. So what to cut? I think a Mana Leak. Is Wonder important here? I could cut 2 Mana Leaks and a Wonder. I am mostly blocking, but getting through in the sky strategically once in a while could be useful, but it is just 1 Wonder anyway. They do play like Sylvan Library. So, I mean, Naturalize is an option. My opponent, it is probably going to be a kind of grindy matchup, and maybe foil's not the best. I don't know. I think I'm just going to try it like this. That's, I think, what I am inclined to do. All right. Okay. Well, this hand has everything we could want except for a green source. But we're going to get to Careful Study and discard the Squee. So we have like a card advantage engine. We just got to find a green source here. And Daze to buy some time as well. We have that. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna... I don't think there's any reason to wait. I mean, yeah, okay. Well, we got there. I could discard this Daze. Like, is there anything I want to Daze? Maybe. I think the Daze probably is better than the Phyrexian Furance. Like, I just obviously want to go like Wild Mongrel into Arrogant Wurm. Yeah. And then I'll put my own Squee on top in case my opponent has a Phyrexian Furance. Okay, so the opponent cracks a Wooded Foothills, gets a basic mountain, and there's a Phyrexian Furance for my opponent. Cool. I mean, I could try to Daze that, but the Squee is protected, and I get to get the Squee back at least once. And it's not like we need to do this infinite times. Cool. Well, we found... I played the wrong land. That is terrible. Oh my god. Well, I just got a little carried away there in the heat of the moment. Okay, Grim Lavamancer. That's not going to do a whole lot. I was hoping to maybe Daze something there. But, I mean, our position still seems all, like, you know, reasonably commanding. So here comes the Wild Mongrel. And we'll pass it on back. Opponent did not use Phyrexian Furance, notably. Okay, the opponent cracks another Wooded Foothills. Maybe I should have Furnace in response. But I don't think they get their graveyard going here. It looks like they are not going to get their graveyard going. Okay. Careful study. Well, what I want to do is attack with a Wild Mongrel and dump out an Arrogant Wurm. Okay, the opponent does not make a block. So we will trigger this madness here. Cast the Arrogant Wurm. It's a heckin' chonker. I'll make the Mongrel red, and then I don't see any reason to commit anything further. Okay, they're activating their Phyrexian Furance. Seems smart. And I guess, yeah, I don't think there was much chance of me. I guess I didn't really consider playing the careful study post-combat. But we're in such a fine position, and I'm just going to end up losing my Squee to their Phyrexian Furance. So we will take care of their Call of the Herd. The Call of the Herd is in exile. A forest. All right. Yeah, I'm just going to attack with the squad here. See what they want to do. Wow, so they want to double block the Wild Mongrel. Okay. Well, I'm definitely going to try to kill their squad. So I will discard the forest. We'll make Wild Mongrel red. We'll discard. Yeah, the careful study. Make Wild Mongrel red. And there's like a bolt here or something. We get to Daze it. And then, I don't know. Otherwise, their board just gets decimated here. But yeah, they get to eat my Squee with their Phyrexian Furance. That's cool. But I think it's okay. Yep, they exile the Squee. That's to be expected. And then their board is wiped. We'll exile my opponent's Furnace there. And we'll see what kind of follow-up they have. The opponent wants to incinerate my Wild Mongrel. So what I might do here is cash in the Phyrexian Furance. And see what we draw. But I think I'll probably be trying to keep the Wild Mongrel around. Yeah, I think I'm pretty comfortable just discarding Forest. And then it's kind of a question as to whether to discard the island or the Daze. If they play a Call of the Herd here, I'll really want the Daze. If I draw foil, I'll really want the island to hardcast foil. I guess I'm gonna ball or bank that I don't draw, you know, another foil. All right, and they're just passing. Huh, we saw that coming, didn't we? Okay, opponent is ready to concede. So, I mean, it's unfortunate that we don't have, you know, Blue Elemental Blast, but at least Phyrexian Furance, being a nice flexible sideboard card, is cool. All right, so what do we want to do here? Like, does knowing they're going to have Phyrexian Furance change my opinion on Naturalize? I'm not super excited about Daze or Mana Leak on the draw is the thing. So maybe like I bring in the 3 Naturalizes and the 1 Wonder, and we just try to make do with just foil on the draw. I mean, Daze does seem pretty terrible. Mana Leak does seem pretty questionable. All right, I'm gonna give it a try. Okay, so we got a hand that's like kind of a stinker here, but it does have Careful Study is the thing. So we get to like dump 2 of these cards and get 2 new ones. The Phyrexian Furance was, I mean, it is good against like the Call of the Herds, like the turn 1 Phyrexian Furance. Yeah. I mean, obviously 5 lands is like a lot of lands, but we're on the draw and we're gonna get to draw some other cards. I think I have to keep it. All right, a turn 1 Lightning Bolt from the opponent. That is not as bad as like a turn 1 Jackal Pup. I'll take it. So what do I want to do here, I think, is play the island and the Phyrexian Furance. And we did manage to draw a not land. So we're just going to hope that their turn 2 play is a Sylvan Library. I guess one thing that I didn't really factor effectively into my calculus is how much of a not answer to Phyrexian Furance Naturalize actually is. Where, I mean, they can just pop it and you're down a card. I mean, naturalizing a Phyrexian Furance is not where you want to be. Okay, it's not a Sylvan Library, but it is a Grim Lavamancer. That seems extremely good for us, given our Phyrexian Furance situation at the present moment. Okay, and we drew a Squee, so this Careful Study is looking fantastic. Okay, so we're going to discard a Squee and a Yavimaya Coast. And we will put the Squee on top. Yes. And then, yeah, we can threaten like a Hydroblast here. So I could Careful Study again right now, but yeah, I think I need to wait for the Squee to be back in my hand before I Careful Study again. Okay. So I'm just gonna make sure I get a maximum prevent Grim Lavamancer from happening value from happening here, and yeah, do this right away. Okay, now my opponent's in the awkward position of naturalizing my Phyrexian Furance. Cool, so I can just exile my Yavimaya. Wait, hang on, which one of these cards is actually on the bottom? Okay, so I'm gonna exile the Careful Study and draw a card. It's an island, okay. They are getting in for 1. Okay. All right, I get back the Squee. Draw for the turn. Another land. Okay, Frantic Search is not a bad one. So discard Yavimaya Coast. And I think we have enough islands at this point. We can put them... I was supposed to discard Squee, but I have so many lands. That's regrettable. Okay, and then I'll play a forest. I guess what we'll say is I'm protecting it from their Phyrexian Furance. But I have more lands than I can use anyway. If I didn't have tons of lands, I probably would not have gotten distracted away from my Squee. It's called the Herd token. Is pretty good, unfortunately. So I probably need to Frantic Search on my turn and figure out like what we're doing here. There's a foil. Yeah, I mean, I think I just need to go for this and see what I'm going to draw. Like, if it's the Phyrexian Furance, I have to get it down. It's not the Phyrexian Furance. Dang, this was looking really promising, and it's, like, slipping away. I mean, do I want to go crazy and Gush here? Like, float 2 blue, play Gush. And, like, what am I hoping for, though? Like, Wild Mongrel? This is really bad. All of a sudden. I mean, one Arrogant Wurm does kind of change this, is the good news. So I'm going to play my forest here. So we have a foil up. Like I could, on my next turn, I could Gush, and if I find Arrogant Wurm, I can hardcast it. Opponent's attacking in 4. They just have 2 cards in hand, so I just gotta like find like anything. Another Call of the Herd. So this is gonna be a problem. I think I'm gonna Gush here. Unfortunately, this Naturalize is not working out in terms of affecting our opponent's game plan. All right, well, I can foil. It's too bad that I don't have 1 more mana. And then I could hardcast a Gush. I guess I have to foil here. Discarding an island in the Basking Rootwalla. I guess it's at least a blocker. So the Rootwalla's in. Call the Herd is foiled. Well, I was making fun of Naturalize on Phyrexian Furance, but I'm getting absolutely roasted by their graveyard now after they did it to me. Yeah, see, I selected always yes. You think it would just come back, but whatever. On the Squee trigger. Okay, another Rootwalla. I mean, that isn't nothing. So, play a Rootwalla. At least we have some kind of board presence here. It's going to be pretty tricky to turn this thing around, though. The opponent is swanging in with an elephant. Well, I guess I'm going to try to juice a Rootwalla here and see if we're bolting it in response or what the plan is. They're not bolting in response. We're blocking. Yep, Call the Herd comes back. Yavimaya Coast. Yeah, I don't think I can pull the trigger on anything here. It'd be really good to draw like a Wild Mongrel. Should I? I guess I'm not doing it. Unincinerate. So do I gush here? I guess I have to. Do find a foil. So I can foil. Discarding an island. And man, this natural. Oh, I'll just discard a Squee. That's pretty obvious. And there's a Pyroblast on my foil. Okay. So I think I can Frantic Search here. Right? Why wouldn't I do that? Ugh. Not exactly delights abounding. I can put those back in any order. Okay, my forests are untapped. Yeah, so they get to incinerate my Basking Rootwalla, and they get to smash my face in here. Don't attack with Grim Lavamancer. I would think it would be safe for them, but they are winning this game and I am not. So I'll trust their judgment. I do get my squeeze back. Okay. I was worried I had clicked no for a second there. It kind of moved all of a sudden as I was clicking it inexplicably. So I think I need to Frantic Search right now. Ugh. And we just get absolutely nowhere. Yeah, my opponent gets to go. Yeah, we get beaten down to 4. I'm sure they're making their last elephant token here. Oh, it's a Fire Blast. All right, well, that'll do it. Cool. All right, cool. So this is how we played out. How it played out. So yeah, we beat Green and White Slide, beat Blue Green Madness, lost to Red Green Aggro. So maybe I wasn't supposed to bring in the Naturalizes there. I don't know. But we just did not really get anywhere, which I mean, when you play 4 Gush, which is kind of tricky in this kind of mana base, you're playing all these foils, sometimes it just doesn't come together. I believe, yeah, in game 1, yeah, we just did not hit any squeeze or way to make any card advantage. So sometimes you just don't, the cards don't mix together. You draw just, it's like an A, B, C deck. You got A is mana, B is I don't know, stuff you want. I don't know, things that make you discard, and then C is things that want to be discarded. And you just need to draw in an even mixture, and if you don't, you run into a spot of bother. And we kind of got hit with opposite sides of that in game 3, flooding out on different portions of the deck. All right, so I'm just trying to think about what I might do to improve the deck, and it just needs a little bit more consistency. And so how could you add consistency to this deck? All right, well, I have one idea, and it's coming from another place, so just hear me out. But what if we played some copies of Obsessive Search? What's absolutely brutal is when you Frantic Search and just don't hit anything. I mean, alternatively, maybe some copies of Roar of the Worm would just be fine. Or even Call of the Herd. I mean, maybe that's a more reasonable suggestion. It's just something like Call of the Herd, which, if you played Careful Study, you know, like if you Careful Study on turn 1, you can take advantage of the madness cost of Obsessive Search. However, you can take advantage of it on turn 2. And then, like, when you have nothing going on, at least Obsessive Search can dig towards things. So I don't know. Like, I think, like, maybe just, like, less counter spells. I mean, Daze does kind of, you know, it kind of combos with foil and that returns islands to your hand. I just wonder if maybe a card like Obsessive Search, like, might improve the consistency of the deck. I mean, this card's probably unplayable, right? There's a reason why no one's ever sleeved this up in a constructed tournament ever. So, you know, maybe that's crazy. But alternatively, maybe just a card like Call of the Herd would really stabilize what the deck's trying to do. And that could be a good option as well. Okay. And I guess my other thought is the Phyrexian Furance was a sideboard all-star. I mean, the rest of my sideboard didn't do much. But I did like the flexibility of Phyrexian Furance. So this card's sweet. It's like spiking up on ticks. Apparently, it's gone up to like 17 ticks. So get your furnaces now, folks. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for watching. You know, if you like pre-modern content, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll keep doing it. I'm probably gonna have to like play some Legacy, unfortunately, to try to like earn more ticks to help fund my crazy pre-modern endeavors. So maybe we'll try playing some Team or Delver or Rug Beans, or I don't know. I mean, I guess I could play some Rhinos or something. Okay. All right. Thanks for watching, folks. Bye.